But this story reveals a new playbook for waging a far-reaching and largely undetectable smear campaign in the digital age.
A leaked New York Times video has demolished Blake Lively's carefully crafted image, leaving the internet in disbelief. Hollywood has seen its fair share of drama, but this one is unique. Justin Baldoni, an actor and filmmaker known for his kindness in the industry, has been caught up in a storm involving Blake Lively, America's so-called sweetheart, who has a different side behind closed doors.
She needed to do was make one call to her agent or one call to the union rep and say, listen, I have a director that's just pushing boundaries a bit. He's making me feel uncomfortable. And that's it. Listen, that's all it would have taken.
Leaked footage of Blake's treatment of Justin has left fans stunned. What happened? What Blake said to Justin? And why is this just now coming to light? We're breaking it all down, including the leaked footage, hidden tensions, and a major win that proves karma is real.
If I was on the Baldoni side, I'd feel pretty good. I'd feel like, wow, we got almost everything we wanted. I mean, yes, we have, a few things that are attorney's eyes only, but we stopped the Lively attorneys from being able to unilaterally designate anything and everything.
Blake has maintained a clean image for years, but her recent actions are causing a backlash. Hollywood may need to reconsider her involvement.
Justin Baldoni just released the piece of the puzzle that will destroy Blake Lively, Ryan Reynolds, Colleen Hoover, Taylor Swift, the New York Times. He's killing 5 birds with one stone.
This leaked video has the potential to disrupt Hollywood's power dynamics and change how we perceive Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni. Will this be the end of Blake Lively's career, or will she continue to avoid accountability? Let's get into it. Did you think Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds were going to ride this one out? Oh no, they're scrambling right now like two people who just realized they dug a grave for someone else and then fell right into it themselves. They thought they could silence Justin Baldoni and bury him under his scandal and walk away with their America sweetheart image intact, but guess what? They're sinking faster than quicksand.
So Blake Lively filed to dismiss Justin Baldoni's $400 million lawsuit. The move comes 2 days after her husband, Ryan Reynolds, asked the court to do the same.
According to recently released court documents, Blake Lively has filed to dismiss Justin Baldwin's multi-million-dollar lawsuit, claiming that the case is a misuse of the legal process. Her lawyers claim that California law protects her because she was allegedly speaking out against Sheesh. But does this sound like a woman fighting for justice or someone scrambling to cover her tracks? Blake's lawsuit may backfire, putting her in serious trouble. Whisper suggests that Blake's escape from the drama is unlikely, raising the question of whether she is truly a victim or just good at playing one. Hollywood is watching this like a reality show, and if Blake thinks she can just brush it under the rug like any other PR disaster, she may want to reconsider. Blake Lively used a false accusation to harm Justin Baldoni's career. Now that the truth has been revealed, she is clinging to the lie like a lifeline. Blake's victim narrative is unraveling, and it's clear that his entire story is a sham. If you saw the famed dance sequence and thought, wow, Justin is totally overstepping, you're right. Justin's team has released the raw footage of the tape, which was manipulated to portray him as an out-of-control stalker. Blake will need to explain the situation.
Blake and Ryan Reynolds were getting bothered by him releasing so much that they asked a judge to put a gag order on Justin to shut him up because they were gagged.
Look at that. Look at how careful Justin was being. This is a man literally walking on eggshells just to keep the peace. And yet Blake and her team decided to wipe out her part of the conversation just so they could paint Justin as some desperate guy drooling over her. Make it make sense. But here's where it gets even crazier. If Blake was willing to manipulate footage to push her narrative, what else has she lied about? Because now people are side-eyeing everything she's ever said about this whole situation, and let's not forget this lawsuit. If the court sees what we just saw, Blake's S8 shield isn't going to protect her for much longer. It really makes you wonder just how deep does this rabbit hole go? And if Blake was willing to go this far to take down Justin, what else has she done behind the scenes that we don't know about yet? At this point, it's giving desperation. Blake and Ryan's team knew they were losing, so they tried one last Hail Mary to silence Justin Baldwin by pulling the gag order card.
The first amended complaint accuses Miss Lively of leaking the CRD complaint to the Times, which, even if it was true that she leaked it, is protected by the fair report privilege.
The Baldoni team won despite Blake's whining. Justin and his team are not just fighting back, but going full scorched earth. Brian Frericks and Justin are not waiting for the court to do the right thing, but are taking this directly to the public. Lawsuit info, a 168-page timeline of legal filings and receipts from the scandal's inception, became available on Saturday. Justin Baldon's victory in the court of public opinion has resulted in a gag order against Blake and Ryan. Baldon will benefit from the fact that Blake and her team, who have been pushing for workplace harassment, have accidentally exposed themselves.
Private text messages and other documents that we've obtained reveal what really happened. A campaign to tarnish Lively after she alleged that Justin Baldoni,
Blake's team confirmed in her dismissal filings that she leaked the details of her civil complaint to the New York Times. They argue that she cannot be sued for it due to journalistic privilege and First Amendment rights. Blake voluntarily leaked her complaint to a major media outlet, portraying herself as the ultimate victim. However, when the lawsuit came back to bite her, she used legal loopholes to avoid accountability. The New York Times has always maintained that they reported fairly, and even fought for a stay. However, Blake's own team is now admitting that they gave the New York Times the information. Blake's PR team allegedly accessed one of their employees' phones, held it hostage, and combed through their text messages to obtain private messages. It is unclear whether this was done legally, but the New York Times reported on it.
Nathan came up with a document spelling out her plans, but Baldoni wanted more. A publicist who had already been working with Baldoni wrote to Nathan, "He wants to feel like she can be buried. You know we can bury anyone," Nathan wrote.
If Justin Baldon's team and the New York Times prove that the video was deceptively edited, it could be used as evidence in the lawsuit.
Some people looked into the metadata of that New York Times article, and it looks like Blake Lively sent the New York Times all her text with her and Justin on October 31st.
The veracity of these texts is questionable, yet the New York Times chose to print them without seeking comment from Baldon's side. If this does not indicate orchestration, I am not sure what does. Blake Lively's civil complaint and accompanying text messages were used to prove her case against Justin. However, no one inquired about where she obtained those texts, which was a crucial detail that went unnoticed during the drama. The iconic New York Times article was more than just an expose, but a calculated takedown.
Blake's business, her hair care line that she was promoting during It Ends With Us promo tour, is tanking. It's about to go bankrupt. It has already decreased in sales by 79%.
According to sources, Blake's campaign was motivated by a desire to maintain her ITG girl status in the industry. She used the New York Times to exaggerate the issue with Baldoni. Fans may be speculating, but it makes sense that Blake's camp is promoting her hair care line as well.
Their lawyer said that Justin has further made it clear that his priority is completely torpedoing Blake Lively's career for the rest of her life. And this could actually all be over in 3 days because Blake and Ryan just asked a judge to dismiss this whole court case because they are trying anything to get this to stop because it's ruining their careers.
Blake's hair care brand, which she advertised on the It Ends With Us tour, has had a 79% drop in sales and is in danger of bankruptcy. The bombshell video prepared behind the scenes is working against them, and they are attempting to blame Justin for the problem.
As it turns out, there's a morality clause in the contract. Here's the thing. Apparently, there's a morality clause in the contract which states that Hoover would have the option to obtain the book rights back if, wait for it, the current owner would be accused of something heinous such as, oh my, what coincidence, harassment.
The team's inconsistent narratives are hindering its case, leading to a clear consensus. Blake Lively wasn't just a victim in this situation. She was the one pulling the strings. And guess what? She wasn't acting alone. Yep, Colleen Hoover. Yes, that Colleen Hoover, the best-selling author, had a bigger stake in taking down Justin Baldon than anyone realized. Now let me break this down so it doesn't come as a total shock to the fans in the back. First, let's talk business. See, Colleen already had sold the movie rights for It Ends With Us to Justin Baldoni. And that deal happened almost 2 years before the film even got into production. So what changed? Well, the moment Blake and Colleen got close during production, things took a dramatic turn. Sources believe that Colleen saw an opportunity. Because think about it, if she could help Blake take down Baldon, she'd have 2 Hollywood powerhouses, Blake and Ryan, in her corner. And what does that mean? A massive payday. More connections, more power in the industry. And if you don't believe it, Well, listen to the people who have actually read the fine print, because suddenly it all starts making sense.
It Ends With Us was a troubled production which we take full accountability for. We are very sorry to everyone we caused upset to privately and publicly. Blake Lively, Colleen Hoover, the entire cast and crew led with professionalism every step of the way. And any negativity aimed at them is ours to own.
Blake filed a civil complaint with a game plan, including a prepared statement for Justin Baldon to release to the public. This effectively forced him to follow her narrative. Receipts are available.
We respectfully request that the court stay discovery as to the Sloan parties until the court resolves their pending motion to dismiss.
At this point, the entire case is starting to look like a giant ego trip for both Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds. Because if we just isolate Blake's actions, it's pretty much a given that this whole drama with Justin Baldon was never about shit. Was about control. Think about it. If the allegations were truly as serious as Blake wanted everyone to believe, why was she only demanding a statement from Justin? If she were really a victim, she would have taken real action, not just tried to coerce Justin into saying something publicly that fit her narrative, but no. Blake came into this movie like a squatter. She inserted herself into the project that was already in motion, made demands, caused chaos, and when things didn't go her way, she tried to burn it all to the ground. And it turns out the court saw right through it. Blake tried everything to silence Justin, and when that didn't work, she went for the next best thing, getting the entire case thrown out before it could even go to trial. But guess what? Justin's lawyer wasn't having it. Brian Frericks, Baldon's legal counsel, responded harshly to Lively's motion to dismiss in a statement to US Weekly. Friedman criticized Lively's self-initiated disaster as one of the most heinous examples of abuse of our legal system. Laws are meant to protect the innocent and allow individuals to defend themselves, not to be twisted and curated by privileged elites to fit their own personal agenda. Miss Lively's actions of pure malice, including falsely accusing my clients of harassment and retaliation, will be held accountable. Blake Lively's publicist, who previously supported Blake's claims, has now stated, "Oh, that was just my opinion." In an attempt to save herself, she wrote an official letter to the judge presiding over Baldon's case, requesting dismissal from the legal disaster.
This is just fact discovery. Wait till we get to experts. I think, what is it, August or September, October?
Yeah.
Experts will be a nightmare. That's always a tough one. And then as they get closer to trial.
Justin Baldoni is not settling out of court, despite speculation that he would take the easy way out and move on with the drama. He is taking this all the way, and Blake and Ryan are doing it all on their own, with every twist, new revelation, and desperate legal move. And this is just the beginning. Is it possible for Blake and Ryan to recover from their current situation, or is their downfall inevitable? Share your opinions in the comments, and let's discuss it.